but I wanted to share with you today. I wanted to do a little bit of what I'll call observation slash lessons, um, and what I call the fool's paradise. And paradise uh, is really nothing more, than a delusional happiness. Uh, Really, a fool's paradise is how can I word it? A delusional happiness, or false contentment. Let me say it like that. Ignorance or a refusal to accept truth in an upcoming and or bad situation. That's a fool's paradise. Uh, Another context I'll add to that would be a fool is said in his heart, there's no God. Uh, I made it short this morning. Uh, Old school song by Melissa Morgan called Fool's Paradise. You know, Fool's Paradise, Melissa Morgan. Do me, baby. You know, Melissa Morgan. I did a story uh, probably about 2 weeks ago. Did a little piece, and I'm not going to get into the complexities of that particular talked about, but a lesson when you deal with fools. I want to help somebody today. I want to help somebody. See, when you, I told you about 3 years ago, you know, don't stop what you're doing and don't attempt to stop the fool in what they do. Let the fool do their job. Let them clock in. Let them get their overtime. You know, uh, let them get their severance. Let them get all that. But one thing about a fool is a fool acts on impulse. And on impulse, guess what happens? You don't think clearly. You make hasty, irrational decisions. You do things out of spite versus accountability or judgment. I talked about 7 days prior to that. I talked about rats. And I was talking about how, we have a society nowadays that glamorize people that straddle the fence. And we talked about how, how do I want to say, but in the same situation, they playing law enforcement. I'm going to help somebody. A fool operates under impulse. A fool. I always told you, since we've been on this journey, don't never let a fool or attempt to stop a fool from doing their job. Young lady, great decent time. And I talked about a week prior to that, rats and different things like that. I got a strange email in regarding those two lives I did. It was more of an inquiry and also some enlightenment that triggered my memory. And I'm almost wondering, and I'm doing this observation slash lesson in a way that is not, over the top, but it's definitely vitally important to the context in which I'm trying to convey this message to you. Sometimes I don't understand, but I do understand how people can be 5 times. I'm being trained 5 times. I didn't know what was going on. I said that does make sense. I had heard something, and I remember I always tell you I don't like to do a list. So I try to be mindful on my wording. A young lady, I guess, was dealing with. I guess this young lady is doing some time. Has 2 different baby fathers. One's Caucasian and one's black. I guess the 2 friends were cool, and I guess they were using together or whatever, and uh, I guess this young lady was sleeping with one person, low key in the basement, and then the girl finds out, and then to get back, the girl sleeps with the other girl's side piece, and then the side piece finds out, leaves them both alone. Next thing you know, the Caucasian baby dad starts sleeping with the girl's friend. They fall out again. I tell you all the time, roads lead decisions that they make again because they act on impulse. And I always tell people, you never know who Brother D Fam knows. I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. A lot of people trust my integrity and my consistency in the mission that I intend to complete. Now I'm trying to find out who got this girl jammed up. Was it the friend that was sleeping with the baby dad and the other guy? Was it the baby dad? Was there someone connected to those 2 individuals that could have snitched and told? I just find it kind of odd how wrong move and uh, cunning behavior. Let me tell you, a snake. Every animal has to have some uh, adaptive capabilities to adapt to the environment. And some wise man told me one day a story about a snake. Said he went out camping one day. And he said it was in wintertime because he was going to do some hunting. I don't know anything about hunting, so I'm a novice to that. But I'm just going to tell the story. And he heard something faint saying help. Looked over in the corner by his tent. There was a snake froze in a ball. He took the snake, put it in the bag. Was concerned. Put the snake in and warmed it up. The snake started thawing out. He attempted to feed the snake. Got the snake warm, cozied up, and everything like that. Not even an hour later, the snake bit him. The guy said, "Why'd you bite me?" The snake said, "I'm a snake. That's what I'm supposed to do." And I say that to say this. We got to be mindful who we help. We have to be mindful and cognizant on the people that other people are connected to in your circle. I told you about 78 days ago. I've never been a guy that hung with circles and groups because there's always somebody in that group that got their own group or their own circle. And usually, more likely than not, the person in the other circle don't like you. So if you deal with people that you know that don't like you or don't deal with you, don't be foolish and attempt to be a good Samaritan, because a fool slash and or a snake is going to be that which what it is, a fool or a snake. And it don't matter how long you invest. It don't matter how long you are attentive and you help that snake or you help that fool. Sooner, always, more than later, you're going to get caught with the bag. And you'll continue to be wounded and set yourself up for a hurt and failure every time dealing with fools. Don't never let a fool stop doing their job. I told you, I said, the way of the transgressor is hard. You know, we feel bad sometimes when we do the right thing. We attempt to continue to do the right thing with consistency, et cetera, et cetera. But that's what we're supposed to do because we built for adversity. We built for pain. But the way of the transgressor, you know, the backstabber, the person that digs ditches, the manipulator, the liar, the deceiver, the person that causes discord, malicious behavior, ill intent. All these things are ways of transgressors. And I know it seems as though you're out and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it seems like you're suffering. You're not. I'm gonna kick it in on a spiritual note. This is Thankful Thursday. David said he'd rather choose to suffer the afflictions with the people of God than enjoy the pleasure of sin for a season. See, we always use the context, reap what you sow, in a negative. Karma is going to come back. Yeah, but if you do good, that's going to come back on you too. Hear me? So a fool's going to be a fool. And I'm just curious on how people sleep at night knowing they're wearing several masks. In life, in real life, not internet, real life, there's no commercials. You don't have time to press pause, rewind, forward, edit. Once you do something, it's done. Hear me? And I want you to be mindful that when you do things foolishly, it always comes back in dividend. You always going to reap the worstest part based on what you dish out. I'm trying to help you. A fool's paradise is no more than a person that is delusional. A fool is delusional. They have an imaginary happiness and have an imaginary plan, yet malicious agenda that never pans out because the fool doesn't even believe. Let me know God. Who said that? So if a fool said ain't no God and they believe in it, I don't like to use the word dumb, but you know, when you're ignorant, you really dumb because you don't have knowledge. And when you lack knowledge, eventually you're going to perish. Be mindful today. It's Thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for a reasonable portion of health and strength. I'm thankful to use that popped in and popped out. I just wanted to share that with you, that this is a serious channel. And we endeavor to continue to be resilient, tenacious, and persistent in the mission in which we're trying to complete. And I don't see uh, any any means or any ways of being discouraged or giving up. I think that it's beyond time that we all speak up and call stuff out for what it is. Because if we don't, we're gonna fall for anything. Uh, and we are not at the age where we should be falling for anything. Uh, this is not the time in life to play games and ducking and dodging. It's time for us all to be accountable for our actions because we got a generation that's coming up watching us. No matter what kind of content we're putting out, what kind of information we're putting out, someone is watching and retaining that information. And if we're not mindful of what we put out as algorithm, we're gonna have some situations right on worse than what's going on right now. I think it's vitally important that we continue to hold leaders accountable because people really want to be led. They're really getting tired of getting regurgitated, uh, force fed, uh, outdated uh, methods of delivery because some of us are stuck in chapter 115, and this is clearly 2026, and we have to use different methods to reach these young people. Uh, you don't necessarily have to compromise your standards, but you got to get on dog level and be able to relate to these young folk because a lot of stuff that some of us OGs is putting out, it's not that young people are not comprehending it. They're not receiving it because they see samples and not examples. Hey, do this, but they see you, on the weekend, you know, doing something about your business. So let's just be mindful, uh, each and every one of us to remain positive, uh, and let that update observation kind of soak in for you that are watching because I wanted to send a subliminal message out uh, just to remind you that I still get inboxes of information. I'm just trying to be mindful how I bring delivery because the temperature in this nation is so at a boil. Uh, I don't want my hands dirty being the one to incite one of these young men and women to go out here and do something crazy. I want to be that voice of reason, uh, yet with the same boldness and unfiltered conversations that I have. I want to come before you live on this channel. Thank you for coming by today. It's Thursday. It's Thankful Thursday. Uh, but I wanted to update the sing through. Uh, I've had some people inbox and ask me, how do you get your information? Hey, I got a team, and my ears are always to the street. So I'm always getting information. Uh, and I wanted to use that illustration about Pat because I know that young lady. I remember when she was very young. I knew both her children. I knew of one of her baby fathers, but I was just kind of curious. I wanted to throw it out there as a thought for people that are watching that we're still on a mission. We're just taking a different approach on how we uh, articulate the message and what we come out. We don't ever want to come across malicious or hate, but we do again believe in swift justice, and I do believe eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's just what I stand on. So thank you again for coming in on this Thursday. Be mindful of the conversation I had with you this morning. We'll be back on Friday with a live. Uh, we got another piece that we want to revisit, an exposure piece, but I guess more information. I want to take my time with that because it's a different story. Uh, but it's local. But check it out. Hey, Take care of yourself and each other, red, yellow, black, and white. We all precious in this sight. Hey, my name is Brother D Fam. That's who the hell I am. And I'm trying to tell you that I'm here to stay. And ain't no way that you can tell me that I don't appreciate you because I do. Subscribers, thank you. Thank you, new subscribers. Thank you for those that pop in, take time out their busy schedule to come and view me, listen to me, hear me. I appreciate you uh, more than what you'd ever know. And just remember, do something extraordinary because the ordinary just won't do. Shout out Commission Fred Hammond on that song. Back when I was a young man, I really liked that album. And running back to you. So, hey, Fred Hammond, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's going through today. We'll be thankful for something. Stand up for something because you'll fall for anything. Again, but the D Fam, WTRUTH, leaving a trail of truth one day at a time. Take care of yourself and each other. You, and even you. I'm out of here.